Uh, um, um, हरिः ओम् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् Raghuji, will you do the Gita Dhyana shlokas, please?
पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् भीष्मद्रोणतथा जयद्रथजला गान्धारणीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदिः कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः।
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Harihi Om. So, where were we? Where did we stop last?
19 and 20th was supposed to be Manan.
19 and 20 of
11th
No,
chapter.
we stopped at 23.
Till 20, till
Manan.
22 is done. 23
Yeah.
we are supposed to do today. It was homework.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter 11.
Chapter 11.
11.
Okay. Chapter 11, verse number 20.
23 was Manan, yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay. So, yes, please start. Go ahead. 23. Rupam mahate bahuvaktra netram mahabaho mahabahurupadam bahudaram bahudamshtakaralam drashtva lokah pravatita tathastaham. Go ahead.
So, can I go ahead? Yeah, so this is another of the verses where Arjuna attributes like when we go to the school and we have not done the homework, we first find out who else has not done the homework so that we will not suffer punishment alone. So, like this, he says, he ends the thing with, the worlds are frightened, and so am I. So, it is obviously the Vishwarupa vision that he is getting of the Supreme Being, who said the Supreme Being should be always so nice and beautiful and benevolent and all that. Nobody says that. The Supreme Being can also be extremely aghora. It could be very scary. It could be like Narasimha came in his avatara. And we have to take everything, but Arjuna is not that state yet. And he feels extremely scared when he sees there's so many stomachs devouring the Kauravas and so many other people, even things happening which he knows has not yet happened. So everything has collapsed around him. So he's extremely scared, and he says, the worlds are frightened, and so am I.
So, okay, very nice. Any other thoughts?
So Arjuna continues to feel scared and express the same, like Pravithita, he used the same word in 20 also. So it's a continuation of how he was already feeling, and he continues to elaborate in more and more ways.
So, good point here, Abhishek. You see, this thing, when you look for other words in the same word in other places, it's called concatenation. When you look for these concatenations, three things happen. Number one, you are obviously revising. So, there is better absorption. The second is that you get to see the contextual use of the same word in different places. So, you see the consistency of thought, right? We may use different, and sometimes you see the same meaning with different words. So when you look for both. And the third thing that happens is you actually start picking up Sanskrit as a language, because now you're looking for the same word, different context, different sentence construction. So a lot of interesting things happen. So it's a very good and a very nice, challenging thing to do. To keep going back and saying, okay, he used the word mukta, or he used the word satatam, and where else did he use it? What is the context in which he used it? So it gives a lot of background reference. It also gives a lot of depth to your own study. So good effort. Anything else, Partha?
In these verse, I found that Arjun, just after eulogizing Krishna, when he talked about Rudras, Adityas, etc., they are all gazing at you, they are amazed, all good things he said. Suddenly, he goes into these myriad arms, thighs, and all that, and he says, I am terror-struck. I think he is expressing his inner turmoil here very, very clearly. He had got some clarity now in his mind, because you also explained the other day that actually he is not seeing, he is expressing what he is visualizing in the mind of his minds. So, so he is expressing his turmoil. Perhaps by saying terror-struck, he is expressing that how foolish I had been to think about the devastating effects of the war, etc., not having been able to understand the beauty and the true nature of the Atman. I think this is an expression of that feeling and submission of Arjuna. Maybe Kurukshetra should have been on the foothills of Himalayas. So, like just now you were telling, he would have looked at Himalayas and he would have been better educated. So he was not. He was in the middle of the battlefield at a different place. So this is nothing but his inner turmoil.
Okay. Veena, do you have anything to add? I'm going to add something very interesting. Every time I read chapter 11, I am reminded of a wonderful poem written in English by Swamiji. And I'm going to share that poem here. I'm going to read it aloud, actually read it for you, everybody. Not very long. So he says, the stars are blotted out, the clouds are covering clouds. It is darkness, vibrant, sonant. In the roaring, whirling wind are the souls of 1,000,000 lunatics just loose from the prison house, wrenching trees by the roots, sweeping all from the path. The sea has joined the fray and swirls up mountain waves to reach the pitchy sky in the flash of lurid light, reveals on every side 1,000,000 shades of death, begrimed and black, scattering plagues and sorrows, dancing mad with joy. Come, mother, come, for terror is thy name, death is in thy breath, and every shaking step destroys the world forever. Thou time, all destroyer, come, mother, come. Who dares misery love and hug the form of death? Dance in destruction's dance, to him the mother comes. This is Swamiji on Kali. So very similar to the Vishwarupa, isn't it? Terror, death, complete destruction. But in that, this continuous resurgence of renewing, when we are able to see that, when we are able to understand that, we overcome our own terror. But unfortunately, for Arjun, and we are all trapped like Arjun is in our body, mind, intellect, identifications. We are unable to move forward, and therefore we also get struck by this terror. And we may not see the Vishwarupa always, but even so, what Veena was describing, when you stand up in front of the Himalayas and you have the Shivling peak right in front of you, you have that huge mouth of the Gomukh from which the river is started to pour out. Your hair stands on end. There's nothing happening over there. It is just happening. But your hair stands on end, right? You are awestruck. What has happened? You're getting connected, but your connection is still through the body, mind, intellect, and therefore you can't immerse yourself completely. And you hold back. And the moment you hold back, terror strikes. And that is what is happening with Arjun. So let us move forward with verse number 24. He says, Nabhas, have we done the verse? Have we learned the chanting of the verse? No, okay. So let us start with the chanting. Nabhas prisham deeptam aneka varnam. Nabhas prisha deeptam aneka varnam. Vyatananam deepta vishala netram. Vyatananam deepta vishala netram. Nabhasprisham deeptam aneka varnam. Vyatananam deepta vishala netram. Drishtva hi tvam pravathitantaratma. Drishtva hi tvam pravathitantaratma. Dhritim na vindami shamam cha Vishnau. Dhritim na vindami shamam cha Vishnau. Drishtva hi tvam pravathitantaratma. Dhritim na vindami shamam cha Vishnau. Nabhasprisham deeptam aneka varnam. Vyatananam deepta vishala netram. Drishtva hi tvam pravathitantaratma. Dhritim na vindami shamam cha Vishnau. Nabha is sky. Sprisham means to touch. Sparsha, from sparsha, sprisham. Deeptam means glowing, effulgent, bright. Aneka varnam, of many colors. Vyatananam, Vyatam means to be open. Vyatam, ananam, mouth. Ananam is the mouth is open. Vyatananam. Deepta vishala netram. Deepta is blazing. Vishala, big. Netram, eyes. Drishtva hi tvam. Drishtva, seeing, he indeed. Tvam, you. Pravyatita antaratma, my inside heart, right? Antaratma, which is basically my mind, my intellect. I am trembling. Pravatita we have seen earlier. Dhritim means firmness, right? Dhritim, na vindami, to find, vindanam, to find, vindami, find. I can't find firmness. Shamam means, Shama is one of the 6 virtues that we have looked at earlier. Shamam means peace, right? Or stillness. So Shamam, mental peace. I'm not finding firmness or peace. It's like as if the land under on which you're standing is quaking, and he's addressing this particular being as Vishnu. Now, the first part we have all understood. It is his mental turmoil that he is coming through. He is explaining. He is seeing what he's describing what he is feeling. Question is, what is this word Vishnu? Where did Vishnu come from? Any thoughts? Any ideas?
So Vishnu means one that pervades. One that pervades. So Vishnu Mayam Jagat. So
Okay, go ahead. Any other thought?
So he's still expressing his terror.
So if you look at the root words in Sanskrit, right, there are totally some 2,800 root words. They are called dhatus. So these dhatus, they form the basis from which the language got constructed. See, Sanskrit, the word itself means that which has been properly created. Samyak rupena kritaha samskritaha. That which has come naturally. This is called prakrit. Right? Sanskrit is not a natural language. We have to understand it. By the name itself, we can understand. See, in most languages, the language comes first, the grammar follows the language, which is why you have exceptions to the rule. Right? Well, we have that famous Amitabh ka, English is a funny language. Right? So, वो dialogue क्यों है? The dialogue is because TO2 है तो GO go क्यों नहीं है? Go क्यों है? Now, there are exceptions, right? Very simple rule, I before E except after C. Right? That was a rule which we learned when we were doing spellings. And then after that, they will tell you exception. 5 exceptions will come. Right? Why do these exceptions occur? Because the language evolved first, and then they tried to create a grammar that fitted into this particular rule. Whereas in Sanskrit, the grammar came first. So first they created a whole set of root words, used the root words to create a vocabulary, created a set of rules to join the vocabulary into various words, and that is how the grammar got created. Right? How did the language actually originate? It comes from what is called the Maheshwara Sutrani. Right? You when you are doing the Raghuji, you will remember when you do, you will be possibly doing it once in a year. When you change the thread, right? All those sounds that are made, those are supposed to be the sounds that originated when Shiva's Damaru fell. And a certain series of sounds got created. Those sounds were put together by the Rishis in their deep thoughts, and then they took each of those letters and they started putting them together and said, okay, now we have created a language. A language that fits all possibilities. So 1,481 number. Now, why do I remember the number? Because I pick up certain numbers and I remember them. Is wish. Okay, wish. Wish is not poison. Wish means to pervade, to enter. Right? Not wish. Wish means to send. Right? Visrujan. We have seen those words, right? Visrujan, to send away. Visrijan. But vish, to pervade. It also means to sprinkle and make everything wet. When you make everything wet, you are using the root word vish. And therefore, when we use Vishnu, right? Vishnu means, in the accusative case, it is he who has, he specifically. It's a he here, because not the feminine has not been used. He who has pervaded the universe. He who has pervaded the universe. Hence the word Vishnu. Now, the staunch Vaishnavites will come back and say, see, Vishwarupa is equal to Vishnu. So Shiva can't be there. This is not Shiva. Right? Now, those are meaningless. We have to get to the meaning or the context of the word to understand why is that. He could have used so many other words. Why Vishnu? Right? He could have said Krishna and it would not have changed the rhythm of the entire shloka. Indrakshi is the chanda that he is using. Indrakshi chanda would have matched over there. Instead of Vishnu, he would have Krishna. It would not have changed the rhythm. Instead of Krishna, he is saying Vishnu. And therefore, we have to understand why is he specifically using these words. For that matter, in one of the ways in which we learned when we were learning and when we had to do Manan, not under Gurudev. Gurudev didn't have so much time to get into so much detail. He would teach and move. But for us, as we went into this, each time Krishna uses a particular word to address Arjuna, you have to understand what is the context of that word. So when he is saying, he uses the word Savyasachin. He uses the word, sometimes he uses the word, he uses the word Partha. He uses the word Arjuna. Correct? He sometimes calls him Pandava. All of these have a contextual meaning, and it's contextual to that line. So whenever you will find, for example, in general, when Arjuna is asking a question where he is very rooted in his body, mind, intellect, Krishna addresses him as Partha. Partha comes from where? From two ways. One, from his mother, whose real name, what was his mother's name?
Pritha.
Correct,
Pritha.
Pritha, right? Kunti is her the national nomenclature, not her real name. Kunta Desha, she was part of the Kunta Desha, therefore she was Kunti. But her real name was Pritha. So from Pritha, Partha. Another meaning is that you are so rooted into the earth element, become more subtle, right? Prithvi. From Prithvi, you have Partha. Even when we make a Shivalinga out of mud, we call it Parthiva Linga. Parthiva Linga. So similarly, here he uses the word Partha. So similarly, when we see the word Vishnu, we have to understand why has he used the word Vishnu. And this is the meaning. He has pervaded the entire universe. He is through and through in the entire universe. He is seeing that it is only him. It is only that particular being which is pervading this entire universe. Whichever direction I see, whichever way I see, whatever I see, there is no space, there is no time, and everything has become one. And that oneness, therefore, is called Vishnu. Any questions? Otherwise, we move to the next shloka.
No, but you did not explain the meaning of that, the entire shloka.
So the entire shloka, as I said, so the entire
Yeah.
shloka is just a continuation. See, most of now, you will find that we will not need to, once we have understood the contextual internal behavior of Arjun, the description is what we should concentrate on, and be very enamored of the description and try to visualize it in our own minds. We will not experience it because we have not been given the Divya Drishti as Arjun was given. But at least can we imagine it in our imaginations? Can we feel what Arjuna is feeling? And hence we discuss only his feelings and his descriptions. Right? I explain the words individually. Nabhasprisham deepta maneka varnam vyattananam deepta vishala netram drishtva hi tvam prevatita antaratma Ritim navindami shamam cha Vishnu. Then we move on.
But the
He is-
question comes, he still says that I find neither peace nor courage. Still,
Correct.
he is in that that mental state.
Very good. Now you see his peace or lack of firmness. Compare, very good question, Parthada. Compare this weakness at this point of time as to the weakness that he was suffering when Gandivam Sasrate Hasta. Right? Chapter 1. Gandivam Sasrate Hasta, he said. My Gandiva is slipping from my hand. Right? My head is spinning. My hair is standing on end. I am sweating. All of that he said. Right? Confusion, fear, etc., etc. He's still having the same sort of feeling. But is there a qualitative difference between the two? Examine that. See, in the first state, the qualitative difference is primarily in a small, narrow view, isn't it? In that narrowness, I am feeling the small I, is getting so affected with all this that is happening. Big battle to be fought. My name, I am what? I am Arjuna. And what am I called? Sarva Sreshta Dhanurdhar. Who gave me that upadhi? My own guru, who is also one of the greatest archers in the living world at that point of time. He has given me that upadhi. To that person, he's telling me, you are Sarva Sreshta Dhanurdhar. That person, so there is a fear of losing name. Fear of losing name. Where is the fear of losing name? Where does it come? Body, mind, intellect. Where is that? Which part?
Intellect,
Ego.
I will say.
Intellect,
Ego.
right? Always intellect. So my see, very simple. Sheet Ushna, where is it? Sheet and Ushna, body. Sukha Dukha, Manas.
Mind. Yeah.
Mind is emotions.
And Man Apaman,
Intellect.
So when I say, oh, I am Sarva Sreshta Dhanurdhar, what are we talking about? My name, my man, not Apaman. I should not get Apaman. Right? Then he say, what will happen if I can't kill Karna? Where is this?
That is again in the mind only.
Which part of the mind? Mind is the English word which has a composite of both manas and buddhi.
Intellect.
No,
What will happen?
Intellect.
No,
only
this
mind.
is fear. This is manas. What will happen if I can't kill Karna? Right?
Oh, okay.
Fear.
Yeah.
Impact of mind and intellect, or manas and buddhi. Where does it happen? On the body. Right? Way before NLP came into being, very clearly said. So, what happened to his body? Oh, Gandivam Sasrate Hasta. But now, his feeling of confusion or his feeling of fear, his feeling of trembling is not coming from that fear. It is coming from a wonder that I cannot absorb. I'm still stuck with my body, mind, intellect. But it is awe, it is wonder. Right? This is Parthada when you're standing in front of North Face. Right? You have traveled all the way from Mumbai, you have reached Dharchen, you have got onto your pony, you have gone all the way there. There were clouds the entire route. West face was not visible, south face was not visible, and you reach north face, and there he is on all his glory. Right? You were there, I was there. What happened? Why do the tears flow? You're not feeling sad. You're not even feeling happy. There is no emotion. But the body is reacting because of the awe, the wonder-struck behavior that we have. Correct?
Absolutely.
That is what Arjuna is going through right now. So we move to the next one. Damshtra karalani chate mukhani. Damshtra karalani chate mukhani. Drishtvaiva kalanala sannibhani. Drishtvaiva kalanala sannibhani. Dvamshtra karalani chate mukhani. Drishtvaiva kalanala sannibhani. Disho na jane na labhe cha sharma. दिशो न जाने च न लभे च शर्मा प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्मा प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास दंष्ट्रा करालानि च ते मुखानि दृष्ट्वैव कालानलसन्निभानि दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्मा प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास. Damshtra Karal, right? Damshtra Karal is a normal description that is given to Narasimha. It is also a normal description for the fiercer forms of Kali, not Bhadrakali, not Dakshina Kali, but the Ugra Kali, Smashana Kali. These are forms of Kali which have Damshtra Karala, tusks, right? Huge tusks. Varaha is also said to have Damshtra Karala. He has two tusks. So Damshtra Karalani Chate Mukhani. Terrible. Karalani. Karala means terrible. So one of the names for Kali also is Kali Karali. Kali is called Karali, she who is terrible. So the Damshtra Karalani Chate Mukhani, right? Drishtva, Drishtva, Drishtva eva, Drishtva eva. Sandhi hai. Drishtva means having seen. Past tense, having seen. Eva, indeed. Kala nala. Kala anala. It is believed that in the pralaya, we have had the pralaya of flood earlier. The next pralaya that will happen will be a pralaya of fire. So the pralaya of fire, kala nala. Anala means fire. Kala, time. The fire of time will come, and sannibhani, resembling kala nala. Drishtva kala nala sannibhani. Disho na jane, the directions are lost to me. Na labhe cha sharma, peace. Sharma is peace, right? For that matter, that is one of the reasons as to why in earlier days, see, in India we have never had surnames. Surnames became part of your vocation because the British could not understand how we function. So they had to give surnames, right? Because they had surnames. And if you look at their surnames were also basically coming from the professions. You will have surnames like Potter, Harry Potter, for example, right? Cooper is a person who works with metal. Archer. So these were all professions which became surnames. Similarly, when we were under the British and they needed to classify and codify people, people who were teachers were bhattas. People who taught the teachers were bhattacharyas. Right? So similarly, surnames used to be given. So how did we classify? We classified very simply. We had only three classifications. Sharma, Varma, Karma, and Gupta. So all those who were classified in the genealogy of being born in a Brahmin family were called Sharmas. Reason being, what is you are supposed to strive for? You are striving for peace. Sharma, the word Sharma means peace. Varma means armor. Yes, Raghuji?
Sir, can you repeat the meaning of the word Sharma?
Sharma means peace. Peace.
As in Shanti.
Shanti. Sharma is peace. So Sharma, he who pursues peace. Varma means armor. Varma means armor. Those who wear the armor. Varma. Those who record and keep things secretly. Gupta. From there, Gupta. Basic 3 professions. And based on your profession, you were given this. So everybody was either a Sharma, Varma, or a Gupta. But then British said, "Arey baap re, how will we classify? Everybody seems to be John Smith. I have a whole dictionary full of directory full of John Smiths. I can't get around this. How will I tax people?" So, well, no. You are teacher, so you are Bhatta. Oh, you are running a trainer class. Very good. You are Bhattacharya. Right? Upadhyay, those who are principal Upadhyayas, Mukhapadhyay. Right? Bengali surnames are very easy to decipher. So that is how these surnames came. So here he is using a very word here he is used is labhecha sharma. Sharma means peace. Disho na jane na labhecha sharma. So he says, I am confused because of my time and space. Now, what is time and space? You know what is time? Time has been defined in a very interesting definition at a metaphysical level, not I'm not talking of the physics definition of time. The interval between 2 thoughts is time. The interval between 2 thoughts is time, which is why when your thoughts stop, time stops. When you go to sleep, deep sleep, time has stopped for you. I'm not talking of absolute time. I'm talking of relative time, your time that you experience. So you experience time as intervals between thought, which is why when you are reading a book in which you are completely engrossed, or you are studying in a class where the teacher is extremely engrossing, अरे 1 घंटा कैसे निकल गया पता ही नहीं चला. Right? And this is the same school, but a different teacher, and he comes and he is going on and on in a sleepy voice. अरे कब period खत्म होगा? Right? Because it's the thoughts that are creating the time. So here what has happened to Arjuna is his sense of time has got distorted. His sense of space has got distorted. And therefore, he is saying, Disho na labhe na sharma. Right? Neither peace nor directions. My directional sense, my sense of space, my sense of time has got distorted. And therefore, what am I? I'm feeling fear. And therefore, what does he say? Prasida. Prasida. What does word prasida mean? Similar word? Anybody can make out prasida? What does the word prasida mean?
Prasada?
Prasada is a very similar word. Yes. So what is prasida?
Grace?
Prasada is what you receive when the divine is prasida.
Okay.
Right? So be pleased with me. Be pleased with me. Don't be so terrible. Be pleased with me. Right? See, have you ever, I mean, I'm sure all 4 of us have experienced this, and anybody who's listening to this will also be having experienced this. Have you ever seen your mother in a terrible form? With
Yes.
various instruments of terror in her hands, right? Running behind you, the Mahishasur. And then when she catches you, all those instruments of terror are landing on your back. But in that point, when that is landing, that balloon is landing on your back, and I've had many balloons broken on my back. What is your cry? Who do you cry to? You cry to your mother only.
Hmm.
You cry to your mother only, right? And you're telling her, don't be so terrible. I continue to love you. Even if you're beating me, I continue to love you. Arjuna is in that state. He's terrified, but he's not running away from there because he loves this, whatever he's seeing in front of him. He has reached that stage where that love is there. And therefore he's saying, okay, now I've seen your terrible part. Be pleased. Prasida. Then he says another word. And as I said, whenever he's addressing this Vishwarupa, we have to understand each word. Devesha. What does the word Devesha mean?
Isha of the Devas.
Isha of the Devas. What is the meaning of Isha of the Devas?
Lord of the Devas.
King of
Why?
gods.
Yeah, king of gods, right? King of Devas. Why are you calling him Isha of the Devas? Why are you calling him such a name?
Of all
Devesha
the-
actually.
To please
Of all the
him.
brilliant ones, he is the most brilliant. He's the
So the
ruler.
word, very good. The word Diva means to shine. One of the meanings, okay. One of the meanings of the word Diva means to shine. So he who is shining the most brilliantly is Devesha. Another meaning, in the earlier verse we have seen, all the Devas are part of his body. Marutas, the Dikpalakas, the Rudras, the Adityas, they are all part of his body. So he has contained all of them. So who is bigger? Container or that which is contained? Obvious, container. Hence, Devesha. And then he says, Jagannivasa. Now this is such a beautiful, powerful word. And I'll tell you why, but I want your thoughts here. Jagannivasa. What does the word mean?
पूरे जगत का निवास आप ही हो. आपके
What is
अंदर
the
है सारे world.
what is the word meaning? Nivasa mean what?
House, रहने की जगह.
Okay. So extending that meaning, it becomes shelter. He who is the shelter for all the entire universe. Right? Jagannivasa. See, one of the things that we have to look at, and I'm awestruck with this particular thing, is how Sri Thakur took all the paths which were so very different from each other in their approach, philosophical approach, Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, and Advaita. Forget the other ones, right? Forget the Abrahamic ones, because they had, I'm not denigrating them, but they had lower levels of philosophical thought, right? They were not, they had not gone into the depths of philosophy. So, but if you look at Dvaita, Advaita, and Vishishtadvaita, and in these three, what he did was he wove all three together. Because in Advaita, it takes a very firm stand of saying Brahman Satya Jagad Mithya. And therefore says that all of what you are seeing is an illusion. You know what he did was, he said, even the illusion is also Brahman. Even the illusion itself is also Brahman. You need to just know that this is an illusion and go beyond and look at both the illusion and the illusion creator. The screen on which the illusion is. And both are nothing but part of one united whole. And then Swamiji defines this or explains this in a very beautiful sense. He says, can you have a thought? Can you have a thought without words? Impossible. The thought and the word are so linked to each other that you can't have one without the other. When I say red, a thought comes into the mind of a flower or a ruby or a color, but there is a form and there is a word. So the thought and the word are inseparable, not feeling. Feeling is different. I can feel fear without having a thought. Correct? If a tiger starts chasing me, I'm not going to sit down and have thoughts thinking, oh, what is the quality of thought? Is it sattvic, rajasic, tamasic? No, I'm going to run. But when it is thought, there is word associated. The word and the thought are so intrinsically linked to each other that you cannot separate the two. They are inseparable. And Thakur used another example here. He says, the diamond and its brilliance, the fire and its heat, water and its wetness, the innate attribute of Brahman is also the attribute of projection into this universe. And therefore, this is also Brahman. Now, does this mean that, I cannot take Brahman, Satya, Jagan, Mithya and work with it? Of course you can. In chapter 12, we will see how you work with it. We will see how that we have to approach that. But what we are seeing here, Jagan Nivasa, shelter. Now, there can only be shelter and make sense only when there is shelter and sheltered. And they are two different. If I am the sky, then do I need shelter from the sky? No, I don't. But if I and the sky are different, then I need shelter from the sky because it is going to rain. So here at this point of time, Arjuna is very clear. He is not one with Ishvara. He's not one with Ishvara. Ishvara is a separate entity. He sees himself as a separate entity, but he sees Ishvara as something that is available to him to become his shelter. He's somewhere where he can take refuge. Hence, he uses the word Jagan Nivasa. We will do the last verse for today. Ami Tvam Dhritarashtrasya putraha. Ami Tvam Dhritarashtrasya putraha. Sarve sahaiva vanipala sanghaihi. Sarve sahaiva vanipala sanghaihi. Ami Tvam Dhritarashtrasya putraha. Sarve sahaiva nipala sanghaihi. Bhishmo Drona Suta putrastathaso. Bhishmo Drona Suta putrastathaso. Sahasmaddiyairapi yodhamukhaihi. Sahasmaddiyairapi yodhamukhaihi. Bhishmo Drona Suta putrastathaso. Sahasmaddiyairapi yodhamukhaihi. Ami Tvam Dhritarashtrasya putraha. Sarve sahaiva nipala sanghaihi. Bhishmo Drona Suta putrastathaso. Sahasmaddiyairapi yodhamukhaihi. Ami. Ami means these. Cha and Tvam, you. Dhritarashtrasya, of Dhritarashtra. The Dhritarashtrasya putra is also sometimes when you want to address them in one in a collective, they are also called Dhrtarashtrasya, Dhartarashtra, right? Just as Pandava. Pandava means Panduputrasya. Panduputrasya Pandava. Dhritarashtra putrasya Dhartarashtra, right? So we have the word Dhritarashtrasya putraha. Sarve, all. Saha, with. Eva, even. Avani pala. Avani, Prithvi, right? Pala, ruler. Avani pala, Prithvi ka rulers. Kings. Avani pala is the meaning, name of, is a title given to kings. Avani pala. Sanghaihi, together with the assembly of Bhishma we know, Dronacharya, Tuta Putraha, Karna. Now, Karna is really, in reality, we know, since we are reading, is not a Suta Putra. He is actually Kunti Putra, right? He is also Surya Putra. But he was brought up by a Suta. Suta is a charioteer. So, being brought up by a charioteer, he was always addressed as Sutaputra by these people as a derogatory term. So here he is being addressed again by in a derogatory term. Sutaputras tatha. So tatha. Tatha means and also. Asau, this. Saha asmadiyaihi. Saha, with. Asmadiyaihi, from our side. Api, also. Yodha mukhyaihi, generals. Right? Let me do the next verse because these two are together. Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti. Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti. Dvamshtrakaralani bhayanakani. Dvamshtrakaralani bhayanakani. Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu. Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu. Tadrishyante churniteiruttamaangaihi. Sandrishyante churniteiruttamaangaihi. Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu. Sandrishyante churniteiruttamaangaihi. Vaktrani tve tvaramana vishanti. Dvamshtrakaralani bhayanakani. Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu. Sandrishyante churniteiruttamaangaihi. Vaktrani, your mouths. Multiple mouths. Vaktrani, te, your. Tvaramanaha, rushing, tvaramanaha, rushing into. Vishanti, entering, rushing, entering very fast. Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti. Dvamshtrakaralani bhayanakani. Dvamshtrakaralani we have already seen. Bhayanakani, fearsome. Kechit, some. Kechit, vilagna. Vilagna means having got stuck between the teeth. Dashanantareshu. Dashana means teeth. Antareshu, between the two teeth. So he needs a toothpick. Right? Here some of them have got stuck between his teeth. Right? And they have so he needs a toothpick to get them out. And then he says, Sandrishyante, are seen, churnitaihi, getting smashed. Uttamangaihi, uttama anga, body, uttamangaihi, head of the body, best part of the body, head. Head is getting crushed. Right? Head is getting crushed in the teeth. It's a very gruesome sight. And he's seeing this. And what is he saying? He is naming a few people, but he's actually seeing everybody. Right? He's seeing that these Dhritarashtra, the sons of Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, Drona, the Karna, and our side, people from our side also. All the generals, Yodha Mukhyehi, Yuddha Mukhyaha, so Yodha Mukhyehi, they are all rushing into your teeth. They are rushing into your mouths. And they are getting smashed there. Some of them are getting stuck for some time. And then their heads get crushed.
I think all the sons of all the Pandavas, they also perished in the war. The
Yes.
Pandavas survived, but their sons all perished.
So at the end of the war, on the 19th day, who are the people who survived? So the people who survived are the 5 Pandavas. The 19th day. 19th day, Duryodhana is also dead. Right? 19th day, Duryodhana is also dead. Kripacharya, Ashwathama, 3 of the Yadavas. 3 of the Yadavas. One is Satyaki, and the other 2, I'm forgetting the names right now. These 3 caused the battle at the Yadavas when the Yadavas get destroyed in Somnath, which is a different story. I will tell you that story at some point of time. So these 3 Yadavas, these were the only people who were there surviving. Everybody else has gone. On the 19th day, Ashwathama also gets conquered, because Ashwathama was found to have killed all of these people. They got hold of Ashwathama, they brought him back, and then Ashwathama was an immortal, so they could not be killed. In any case, he was the son of the Guru, so they refused to kill him. But then he let loose the Brahmastra. Arjuna let loose the Brahmastra. And the 2 Brahmastras, if they had collided, they would have caused widespread destruction. So Vyasamuni came in the middle, and he had, I think, what is called radioactive shields. So he stopped both of these weapons temporarily, and he told Arjun to recall. So Arjun recalled it. Ashwatthama said, I don't know how to recall. My teacher did not teach me. Dronacharya did not teach me. So, but he didn't say that. He said, okay, I am recalling. But what he did was, secretly, he redirected that weapon into the womb of Abhimanyu's wife, Uttara, who was at that point of time pregnant with late stage of pregnancy. In the Srimad Bhagavad, this is not there in the Mahabharata. In the Srimad Bhagavad, it says that Sri Krishna entered into the womb of Uttara in the form of Sudarshan. And he cut this radioactive missile that was inside the womb into small pieces, which could then be absorbed into the body without any damage. And hence the child who was inside, since he was protected, he was called Parikshit, he who is protected. Raksha, from Raksha, Parikshit. That is how Parikshit was born. Right? So these were the only people who were left. Forget the women. There were some women who were also left, or Draupadi and Subhadra and all of these people. They were all the women were left. So that is what was left over. What he is seeing right now is that state. He is seeing, he has named only the Dhritarashtras. He has only named a few of those people on their side. But he is very clearly saying that the Yodhas of our side also are rushing into your mouth. Now, this is where we will stop for Manan. What is this rushing into your mouth? What is this getting stuck between the teeth? What is the crushing of the teeth afterwards? What is this? Why is there this rushing? What are these multiple faces which are into which people are rushing? So do some Manan, and we will discuss this in our next session. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.